September is Suicide Prevention Month. The NFL community, SAMHSA, and 988 have come together to present this 4-part video series on suicide prevention. Over the last few years, we have seen a higher risk of suicide among youth and young adults, as well as minorities. In these instances, families can be a crucial line of defense against suicide. In the third of this 4-part series, NFL Executive Vice President Troy Vincent and Branch Chief of Suicide Prevention at SAMHSA, Brandon Johnson, discuss a parent's role in suicide prevention.
So Brandon, I just read a report, the increased suicide rates of our young people. As a parent, talk to me about what are we seeing?
You're right. Unfortunately, we are seeing these increases, particularly around our young people. It's important to know that many young people, as they experience these, suicidal thoughts, actually, when they get care, they have really great outcomes. And so it's important for us to open up those conversations and to engage with our young people, to let them know it's okay to experience these things. Let's talk about them and get help.
Something may be happening where the parent should interject, and how do we go about doing that?
So I tell parents it's really important to, again, just watch for trends, watch for changes in your young people. Everyone's different, everyone has their different, things and way of behaving. So when you see changes such as they don't want to participate in things that gives them joy, things that they're active in, if they become more withdrawn and isolated and don't want to interact in the way that they typically do, those are some things to pay attention to.
Where do we tell them to go? Who should actually have this conversation with, whether it's our daughter? Who should have this conversation, whether it's with our son?
Whoever is noticing these changes and has the relationship to do that, it's important to engage from there. I'm concerned. I want to help. I want to talk through this. And so trusted adults and trusted people can come from a number of different places, but having that conversation with them lets them know that someone cares.
How do we as parents, how do we as teammates, how do we become more proactive? And what are some of the proactive steps that we could take?
I think it's really creating that culture where talking about mental health, your emotions, your feelings is accepted, is open. And I think a lot of what we can do, especially as parents, is to model how we experience things and creating those safe spaces, and it also allows your children to understand that you're a safe place to land. So if they don't want to talk to you about this today, but eventually when they feel open and comfortable enough to say, you know what, I can go to dad, I can go to mom, because we're having these conversations, it's safe, and I know that they'll understand.
What are you hoping that will come from out of the collaboration work?
I hope we can foster an open dialogue around mental health and suicide prevention. There are so many people that are experiencing these things, that are struggling, that feel that there isn't a place for them to go. There aren't resources that speak to them. 988 is there as a resource in different ways. Chat, call, text, and that's there 24/7, 365. That there are other resources around the country that are really, specifically targeted, some for athletes, some for youth of color, and some to support parents. And 988 is also a resource for that as well. But it's okay for us to talk about these things and to get support, to get help. And there are people out there who genuinely care for people's well-being.
I thank you, and we appreciate the partnership.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
If you or anyone you may know needs mental health support, please contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling, texting, or chatting 988. These services are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, across the entire United States. They're not only for people who are suffering, but also for those who seek information on how to provide support. You will be connected to trained counselors who can provide free and confidential emotional support and crisis counseling.